Hey guys, welcome back out in the garage. Billy Ray here. I have the E7 small block Ford cylinder head back on the flow bench, doing the exhaust side, okay? And we've been playing around with that a little bit to see what we can get at the low lift, at 300-inch lift. Just to do like a little recap, we actually started on this project a couple weeks ago. If you watch yesterday's video, it'll kind of explain what happened because I explained it all in that video, and I might go ahead and just explain it again a little bit here. What we did was we took this E7 head and basically cleaned it as far as oil and stuff, but it still had all the carbon that didn't come off during the cleaning of the oil, just soapy water, a little degreaser. It's still on there. We didn't do no valve job to it. It's just bone stock, basically in running mode. It just took right off, cleaned it up, and then stuck it on there to see what it would flow. And we picked 300-inch lift as our number. It's a low lift number, and it's the exhaust side. And if you guys know Fords, they got a very small exhaust port. Okay, so what we did was we went ahead and flowed it to see what it would flow at 300-inch lift, and it was 129.78, okay, the way it sits. So we thought, okay, that's cool. Then Fords have this little bump on the roof where they drill a hole, and then it has a channel, goes through the whole length of the cylinder head, and an air pumps hooked to it, and it blows the air onto the exhaust as part of that smog control emissions. So we just kind of removed that while it was on the bench, because I have a tube here that we can actually find air that's moving. Okay, so I went in there and I'm moving this around, watching the liquid over here to see, and it's moving. But when I get in front of that bump, okay, when I got right in front of that bump, nothing's moving. There's no air. So we basically took somebody thumping. So we basically took and I ground that bump out. I didn't even take it 100% out. I just ground it out some and not floated, but turned the pump back on and just see. And then we found air. So we thought, okay, cool. That was a little plus. Okay, so now we basically took the cylinder head off the flow bench, and I have this old school 75-degree cutter that I went inside the bowl of the exhaust. You're supposed to turn it by hand, but I set it up on the machine on the IDL, and that way I can speed the process up. And I cut it with that, and I went to where the entry of the seat is. I went to 1 inch 385. Okay, that's how much that's what I opened it up to. And then I just touched it with a 45 on top, and we put it right back on the bench. We came from the IDO, went right back on here, set it all up, and floated it right then. And it was basically about 7 CFM more. So between that there and maybe that little air bump, we got about 7. So depending on, it was like 138, but it depends on how you went around your numbers, up or down. So 7 to 8 CFM, very cool. So we thought that's neat. So, but now here's the problem. I started thinking about it, and I'm thinking I don't think this head, because I've flown a lot of cylinder heads on this flow bench. I've had this thing 30 years, and I've flowed a lot of different brands and a lot of cylinder heads, and along with other things, carburetors, air cleaners, exhaust and stuff. So I got thinking, there's no way at 300-inch lift that little port can flow that much. So I knew I calibrated the machine, because I always calibrate the machine, just double check it before I start any kind of project on it. But when I calibrate, I always use the higher numbers with the calibrator plate, okay? And use the higher numbers. So everything comes out cherry, all right? Now when I start this little project on these small ports, I have to move this is your flow rates. So I moved it to number 2 because we're flowing such a small port. Well, what happened was when I'm turning this, before it got to number 2, it detached inside the box here, okay? So now the orifice plate didn't move all the way over. It didn't swing over, however you want to look at it. So it didn't swing over. So I was using a higher flow rate still, but didn't realize it. And so we was getting a false number, what it boils down to. And this is all, you're doing all this manually. There's no, digital readout or anything on this. No computer, no nothing. It's a calculator. Okay, I gotta use a calculator and a cheat sheet, what we call it. And so I fixed all that now. So yesterday I said I'm gonna go ahead and now put this E7 head back up here, and that way we can see what happens. So it was 137, 138 after everything I just talked about. Now let's see what it really is. And I'm guessing it can't be much over 100, I wouldn't think, on a port that small at 300-inch lift. I'm thinking, I believe it could be in the 90s, but I don't believe it can be what it was, okay? So now that we have this all fixed and everything's cool again, recalibrated it earlier, and let's just see what happens, all right? And I'll even move the camera forward. It's real hard to see my fluid moving. That's the same tubes that's been on there for 30 years, and it's just really hard to see the liquid. So, but when I punch it in on the calculator, I'll have the camera up close so you can see what I'm punching in. That way we can all see it together, whatever it's gonna be. So anyway, I guess I'll just go ahead and flow this a little bit. Let me move this up. Like I say, it's gonna be real hard to see. I can blow that up a little bit now, but see, now it's taking too much because we're gonna have liquid there on a scale, and we got that. But let's just do it like this. And I've already got this at 300-inch lift. You can kind of see this valve's down lower. So let's go ahead and see what happens. We're at 2.1 on this scale here. 2.1. And the percentage is 54. So we're at 2.1 and 54, okay? So, the way we do this. Actually, I could have just went like this and held it instead of having that tripod hold it. So we was at 2.1 on this scale here. We was at 54 on the percentage over here. Okay, and we're on number 2 here, which is, if you look at the number 2, you go over it and it's 50. So, go to your calculator and turn it on. Man, I need to replace this one. It'll be about the 5th time. So we put 50 times, and that scale was 2.1. So here's where I need to brighten this thing up. So let me just see if I can blow that up. So we go to 2.1, which is going to be kind of hard to see. Right there. 2.1, and we go all the way to 28 inches. If you look up there, I can do 10, 15, 25, and 28. So right there, and it is 3.651, okay? So we enter, let me back that off there. Now I can see the calculator. 3.651. .651, and we times that, and it was 54% on that gauge. So 0.54, and our cylinder head on the exhaust side flowed, there it is, 98.57. That makes more sense to me. 98.57. All right. Cool. Oh, I didn't have to go that far back. All right, guys. So there was that. So now we kind of know where we're going to start from again. So we're at 98.57. Okay, so now we'll start from there, because we haven't even touched the runner yet, and really didn't do any more, around the guide. We didn't do nothing except for that little bowl thing right there and that little air. So we'll go ahead and do a little more to this each time, and we'll just see what we can come up with. And we're going to keep it at 300-inch lift and see what we can really get. And then that's actually helping other areas, but we want to concentrate on the low lift first before we start messing with any kind of high lift stuff. So anyway, that was that. So as always, stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.